What up, Laker Nation? It's your boy DTLF, man, back with another video. And today we got some more breaking news. Lakers hire former video coordinator Quinton Crawford. Now, I honestly don't know much about this guy. However, I do know he's a video coordinator. I think he used to work for the Charlotte Hornets, if I'm not mistaken, or the Bobcats. I'm not sure, but Lakers continue to add to this assistant coaching staff, so they continue to bring the heat this offseason, not settling and hopefully bringing the right people around. And we already got Hollins, Kidd, amongst others. So very excited for that. We got a shooting coach already. We got video coordinator, assistant A, assistant B, and of course Frank Vogel. So it's going to be very interesting to see moving forward how this coaching staff operates as a unit moving forward, right? So I'm doing good. How you guys doing, man? Good to see you guys. Been busy working a lot with Prime Week, but I'm gonna have more time to stream with you guys and also to bring you guys the latest Laker information. Also, we're about to hit 10K. Congratulations, you guys made it, guys. You guys dropped 500 likes on my last video. So as a result, I'm gonna be giving away not one but two NBA 2K giveaways that will be announced on my 10K video as soon as I hit it. It could be as soon as tomorrow. So if I hit it overnight or right after this video, I will do that live stream that announces the two winners for NBA 2K and then that entered the contest on Twitter. So as I grow, you guys will also benefit, and I will continue to give back to the community. That's just what I like to do, man. So thank you guys so much for all the support. Also, I have a track. I have the Lakers hype mix track coming up called I Bleed Purple. That's coming up. I already finished the track. I just have to edit the video. Again, after I hit 10K, I'm going to get working on that. I might drop it the next day or so on and so forth. But it's coming, guys. Stay tuned. A lot of Laker content coming your way this season. We're about, 2 months removed from starting preseason, and I cannot wait. Every day that goes by this summer is going to feel like a slow drag. And I was hoping that, today I could get my mind off of basketball. I went out and watched The Lion King. That was tough, man. Now, I don't want to spoil it for anybody. I'm not going to do that. But if you guys want to know how I felt about the movie, follow me on Twitter at Dan the Lakers fan or DTLF. If you guys don't care, then that's fine. Go and watch the movie, enjoy it. But I'm not really going to give up too much because I don't want to ruin anybody's experience. Again, if you guys want to know how I feel about it, go on Twitter. We're going to stick to basketball right now. Now, Kyle Korver is off the board, guys. That's something else. Kyle Korver just went off the board, and he went to the Milwaukee Bucks. So that's one less. That is one less option for us. As far as Iguodala's still trying to wiggle out of his contract, man. He's legit trying to get out of the Memphis Grizzlies contract, and then eventually, hopefully, he joins us. But for now, we have one open roster spot for right now, and we're gonna see. Hopefully Iguodala comes. If not, we're probably gonna hold it till like past the trade deadline, or when all the good players get cut from their rosters and stuff like that. That's when you separate the tanking teams from the real competitors. Carmelo Anthony, that's a hard pass. Hard pass on Carmelo Anthony for sure. But anyways, I wanted to get into the power rankings. How y'all feel about that, man? Thumbs up if y'all want to hear some power ranking talk. Now, Bleacher Report, ESPN, all these major media outlets have been, doing their power rankings. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys the Bleacher Report one, which I think is just ridiculous. They're letting the Clippers run away with it, like if the Clippers ever accomplish anything just because they added Kawhi Leonard. But yeah, pretty much everybody, most analysts or experts or whatever you want to call them, they have the Clippers at the top of the list, which just baffles me because it's funny how they mention all these new parts that are coming into the Lakers and how they have to mash and gel, but they don't mention that with the Clippers, which is really absurd to me. They got two star players that are coming in. They have to mesh and gel with the team as well. So, to me, I feel like we have the deeper team. But again, I want to get into the power rankings. Now, let's start with Bleacher Report. I'm looking at their website right here, and check this out, guys. We're going to start from the bottom, all right, because I want to make this video nice and a good length. So let's start with number 30, man. They got the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, the Cleveland Cavaliers, everybody knows, they're obviously a rebuilding, struggling team, right? So, I'm not mad at that. Could have been a little bit higher, maybe so. Depends on how their draft pick pans out. But, we all know they drafted Darius Garland to go along with Colin Sexton. So that's going to be very interesting to see how that works out if he comes back healthy. At 29, they got the New York Knicks. Now, I feel like that's a little low for the Knicks, not just because I like the Knicks, but I feel like they drafted extremely well. And they have some good young pieces moving forward from last year. I feel like the Charlotte Hornets should be there at 28. Now, I'm sorry, at 29. Now they have the Charlotte Hornets at 28. Now the Charlotte Hornets, they replaced Kemba Walker with Terry Rozier, who's a decent guard, but he's not the same caliber as Kemba. So that's a downgrade right there. You know what I mean? So to me, they have him too high. He should be down there. The Charlotte Hornets should be at 29, in my opinion. At 27, they have the Washington Wizards. Now everybody knows that they're on the verge of a rebuild. I mean, they're one trade away from rebuilding, and that's getting rid of Bradley Beal. Obviously, everybody knows that the Washington Wizards, John Wall, is not going to pan out because he's injury prone now, and he's not far away from 30. Plus, he has a humongous contract, right? So to me, it's crazy how it's extremely crazy how they have the Wizards at 27 when they're on the verge of a rebuild. Now I get it; they still have Bradley Beal and all that, but again, I'd put the Knicks ahead of them. Honestly, the Knicks still have Julius Randle. They have Mitchell Robinson. They drafted. I like their rookie. I really like the number 3 overall pick. Their rookie is solid. So I feel like they're gonna have a decent season, and they got some good vets there as well. Now, here are the teams that Bleacher Report has trending up. Okay, this is a little weird. The Phoenix Suns. Now, the Phoenix Suns, their biggest acquisition was what? Ricky Rubio. DeAndre Ayton, to me, had a bit of a letdown season last season. I don't know about you guys, but what did you guys think of the Phoenix Suns? To me, Devin Booker's a bit overrated. He never wins anything. He's just a scorer who likes to stat pat. So to me, Devin Booker is no bueno. As fun as he is to watch and all that, when he lights it up, never really comes in victories. Again, DeAndre Ayton, to me, hasn't lived up, but then again, he's just a rookie, so I'm going to give him a little bit more time. They just traded Josh Jackson, who didn't pan out for them. I really like to blame their player development because they've drafted some good players with good potential, and they never panned out. So hopefully Josh Jackson is able to revitalize his career with the Memphis Grizzlies. But for now, I think the Suns are too high at 26. I will move them lower as well. The Atlanta Hawks. Now that's a nice little young prospect team. I really like Trae Young. I truly like Trae Young. I feel like he is one of these elite guards in the future, and he's going to continue to get better. Not to mention, what's his name? John Collins, I think. John Collins, the athletic forward they have, which is perfect for today's style of play, getting up and down. He can jump out the building, and he can stretch the floor as well. And he's not a bad defender. I mean, he's very mobile. So I like the Atlanta Hawks. I would actually move them in the lower 20s. I don't like their ranking. I never agree with these power rankings, by the way. So I always feel like, I don't know, like they just rush them. So the Atlanta Hawks would be like 22 for me, something like that. Memphis Grizzlies at 24. Now, everybody knows they drafted Ja Morant. However, we didn't really get to see this kid in Summer League, and we don't know how he's going to translate to the next level. On paper, he looks good. He has the athleticism, the speed, the jumper he needs to work on. But above all else, he has great court vision. So, that's a team to me that still – they just traded away Mike Conley last season. They got rid of Marcus. So they're just starting to rebuild. So I would put them lower as well. They'd probably be like, 26 to me, personally. And again, I'm going to go over these rankings with you guys. If you guys disagree, if you guys agree with my ranking, leave a thumbs up. If you disagree, thumbs down. I'm cool with it. But moving forward, and I'll get right to you guys' comments as soon as I'm done with my power ranking analysis. But moving forward, we just covered the Memphis Grizzlies at 24. That's a bit too high for me. Chicago Bulls at 23. Now, this team is very intriguing. Let me tell you why. The Chicago Bulls have a lot of young talent, They also added a couple vets with Thaddeus Young amongst them. And I really like the young talent. Wendell Carter Jr. exceeded expectations in my eyes. Kobe Jones looked very solid in Summer League. And Lauri Markkanen, again, exceeded expectations last season. So if they could just stay healthy, I think. Let's not forget to mention Zach LaVine. They have Otto Porter. So they have a nice little young up-and-coming squad. Again, I really like their draft pick, Kobe White. He's going to be solid. So I think they're at the right spot. I'll leave Chicago at 23. Now, number 22, you got the San Antonio Spurs. Now, this one kind of surprised me. We all know those Popovich teams. those Popovich teams never seem to disappear, man. I swear, those I don't understand why they slipped in these rankings. Why they have them way down there? They have them at 22. That's a puzzler to me. Last I checked, they still had DeMar DeRozan, LaMarcus Aldridge, and Popovich. Much as I dislike Popovich now because he disrespected our Lakers and snitched on us, he's a very great coach. Therefore, I'm shocked they're at 22. I'd have them in the teens, even though they're in the West. At 21, you got the Detroit Pistons. Now this team, again, they have Blake Griffin. They just added Derrick Rose. So that's a bit interesting. Now, Blake Griffin has been playing really well, even though it doesn't really show up because they're in the East and they still didn't make the playoffs with the Detroit Pistons. But I guess 21's about right for Detroit. Now, you got the OKC Thunder. Now, the OKC Thunder are one of those teams that is hard to analyze them because we don't even know, how they're going to pan out. Hey, what's up, T? What's up, Kevin? We don't know how the OKC Thunder are going to pan out. So that's one of those teams that it's interesting. They still have Steven Adams. I don't know if Chris Paul's going to play there, but if he does, he's going to add some value to them, even though he's old and washed. They have a lot of draft picks moving forward for the future. But Andre Robertson was injured last year. They added Gallinari. This could be one of those teams that kind of like has an outside shot at not being one of the lower lottery teams. I know that sounds funny. I didn't say playoffs, but they could be like in one of those in the middle of like not playoffs, but not all the way in the bottom of the lottery. So 20, we'll go with that for now. We'll give Bleacher Reports a pass. The Sacramento Kings, they hired the wrong coach as far as developing players and letting them go. Now, hopefully Luke learned his lesson from getting fired from the Lakers, from holding back young players and not being able to connect with them. So if he did learn his lesson and he lets him fly, then those Kings are going to be pretty solid because they have some young talent. Let's not forget De'Aaron Fox had a kind of a breakout year last season. He was really nice. Buddy Hield kind of broke out as well. They have Bogdanovich. Y'all know how I feel about him. He's a shooter. He killed my Lakers last year. Can't stand him. They have Marvin Bagley, who I really like, and I think is going to be one of the best players in that draft moving forward. He could be maybe even the best player from that draft. You never know. But that was a surprisingly good draft with Trae Young, Doncic, Marvin Bagley. But Marvin has to stay healthy. They have Harry Giles. Harrison Barnes just signed. Deadman, Corey Joseph. I mean, they have a pretty solid squad. Do I expect them to make the playoffs? Probably not. Luke Walton is the reason why. He showed me that he holds back the potential of young players, and that team is oozing with young potential. So hopefully he learned from his mistakes and he grows from it as a coach, because I really like that Kings young talent. That's all I got to say about the Sacramento Kings. I'd say they're at about the right spot right there in the rankings, number 19. Now the Miami Heat. Oh my goodness. Look, the Miami Heat just added Jimmy Butler. All right, they no longer have D Wade. He just retired last season. They traded Hassan Whiteside. They lost Josh Richardson. But what's that kid's name? The one they drafted from Kentucky. Now I liked him. I told you guys about him since before he was drafted. Assuming the Lakers would have kept the 11, 12, or 13th pick, I really like this kid from Kentucky. I told you he reminds me a lot of Devin Booker. And they drafted him, Tyler Hero. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Tyler Hero is going to be very decent. I think he's going to be a star player in his league for years to come at the very best. That's his ceiling. His worst, he'll probably be like a JJ Redick type. But I really like Tyler Hero. I mean, he's one of these players that I feel slipped through the cracks in the draft. He should have been a top 10 pick. I really do like it. No word on Iguodala yet. But Tyler Hero's going to be solid. So, they have somewhat of a future, but they did lose, obviously, Dwayne Wade. They traded away Hassan Whiteside. But they do have Jimmy Butler, Tyler Hero. And last I checked, I think they still have Goran Dragic unless they trade him for Chris Paul or whatever. But that's one of those teams where I'd leave him at 18 as well. 17, you got the Minnesota Timberwolves. They're fine there. I mean, the Timberwolves are always like a middle-of-the-road team. They try to add D'Angelo, but they failed. Wiggins needs to get traded. He never lived up, man. I don't want to call him a bust, but he definitely didn't live up to the hype. So I'm going to leave the T-Wolves there. Moving on, at 16, you got the Indiana Pacers, another interesting team. Victor Oladipo was injured last season, so that's intriguing to see how he comes back. They did add I think Malcolm Brogdon, right? And Jeremy Lamb, TJ Warren. They got some nice little role players. Domantas Sabonis, who was part of the trade package for Paul George. seems like a decent player. Miles Turner and Victor Oladipo are obviously the best two players on that team. So it'll be interesting to see if Brogdon can fit in, right? Can fit in with that team. But they did lose Bogdanovich. I think that was a big loss for them. So again, I'm fine with the Pacers at 16. Maybe slide them back a little bit. The Orlando Magic 15. Now, why are they so high? In my opinion, Vucevic, they re-signed him. Mo Bamba has some nice length. Aaron Gordon kind of hasn't made the big leap that everybody expected him to make by now. Jonathan Isaac is a nice little raw prospect. But Markelle Fultz was the addition they added last year at the trade deadline. They added him. Word has it that there's still not a return date for Markelle Fultz. So that to me is a little puzzling. That I'm not sure if it's a mental thing with this kid or if he's really that injured that bad. But I wish him the best. Orlando comes in at 15. I'd slide him back a little bit. The Dallas Mavericks, with Kristaps Porzingis potentially making his comeback this year, Luka Doncic having a great season. The Mavericks are one of those teams as well that are intriguing, but I don't have them at 14. I'd slide them back a little bit more. But we'll see what Kristaps Porzingis and and Doncic do moving forward. That's going to be interesting to see. The West is super stacked and is going to continue to be a dogfight for years to come. But they have to get healthy. If they get healthy, then it'll be interesting. I'm yet to see what Kristaps look like next to Doncic if healthy. So we'll see. For now, I don't have them cracking the top 14. I'd slide them back to like 17, 18 in my personal power rankings. But those Mavericks are definitely intriguing. Now we're in the top 14. You got the Brooklyn Nets at 13. They lost D'Angelo Russell, but they added Kyrie. Kevin Durant is not going to be a factor this season because he's injured. It's going to take him all season to recover, maybe even more. But Kyrie is an upgrade over D'Angelo for sure. Now, how much of an upgrade? That's going to depend on his attitude and how much he's able to lead that young team because they still have a young team. Dinwiddie is going to help him lead as well. He's like 26, 27. But they have a lot of good young talent as well. I like Jared Allen, great shot blocker, athlete. Reminds me of a young DeAndre Jordan when he was, catching lobs and stuff. But I actually like this kid's heart more. Then you got the New Orleans Pelicans. New Orleans Pelicans are officially my third favorite team in the NBA. I didn't have a third favorite team, but since they basically the New Orleans Laker Pelicans, they have our young core over there. They have Josh Hart, Brandon Ingram, and Lonzo Ball. So I'm rooting for those guys. Therefore, that's my third favorite team. It's going to be interesting to see if they come back healthy, how well they play together with Zion Williamson. Now, there's growing concerns about him being able to maintain his weight, going to New Orleans with all that great food and all that stuff. He's a heftier dude. There's been, people criticizing him that he needs to get in shape. Personally, me, what is he, 285, 290, bullying people, and he's still super explosive. I do believe he needs to lose a little bit of weight or at least turn it into muscle because what happens is we've seen this in the past. Players that are that athletic tend to get injured. Just look at the Derrick Roses type players like that, that are that explosive. If they don't take care of their bodies properly and get, make sure that they're, working out their core and all that stuff and staying balanced and not overdoing it, they will get injured. And God forbid, the one thing NBA fans don't want to see is this man tear an ACL or something crazy like that happen. Knock on wood. But, we want to see a good young core with the Pelicans moving forward. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. I can't wait. Ingram doesn't want to be in New Orleans. Is that how you feel? We'll see. We'll see. Again, I think that's Ingram's face. We know. I mean, people used to criticize him, tell him that he's always high and stuff like that. But Ingram has always been that type of chill, mellow dude. So I don't think he really showed much emotion. But, I mean, he was smiling here and there. It's going to be interesting, though. Those Pelicans are definitely intriguing to me. I might just have to cop league pass just to watch them when the Lakers aren't playing. But, Jackson Hayes was really explosive in Summer League as well. They also added J.J. Redick. I mean, that team, if they gel quickly and if the young guys make a leap, they're going to be a problem for years to come. So we'll see what happens this season. I don't expect them to make the playoffs. I think 12 is a little too high for them. I'd probably put them like at 15 or somewhere like that in the power rankings. But I'm not mad at 12. I mean, they are intriguing. Number 11, you got the Portland Trail Blazers. Now, Portland, y'all know how I feel about Dame Time Lillard. They added Ken Bazemore as well, somebody I truly liked since he was with the Lakers. Hassan Whiteside is a question mark. If he comes in motivated and plays like when he first got to Miami Heat, they're going to be a problem, the Portland Trail Blazers. And therefore, I think 11 is a perfect ranking for them. They lost Al-Farouq Aminu, Seth Curry, some good shooting. Mo Harkless, solid two-way player, and Enes Kanter, who's good in the post. And I think did they trade Myers Leonard? Yep, they traded Myles Leonard, and so to me that team is a question mark. But however, they still, last I checked, they still have Damian Lillard and CJ, so they're always going to be a problem. And like I said, if Whiteside gets on the same page, then that'll be interesting. Now we got the top 10. I'm gonna get into the top 10 rankings and in what order I'll put them in. What do you guys think of my rankings so far, though? Do you guys agree? I'm gonna head over to the comment section. I know I did a lot of the talking. I haven't really focused on the comment section, but I want to let you guys be heard. He said Lakers will be 2020 champions. Absolutely. He said Hassan will play 40 games. To me, it's all about his attitude. You know, if he has the right attitude, they're gonna be a problem because Hassan can play in the paint. But we'll see. He said great ranking so far. He said your standings all right for sure. He said pretty good, Dan. You are on point. Thanks, Kevin. Utah looks good. I'm gonna get into them. They're coming up in the rankings. Who is Quinton Crawford, though? He is a video coordinator. I believe he was last working with the Charlotte Hornets. So I don't know much about him either, but I do know that it's great that we're focusing on all the little details and bringing in all the necessities. So, but I'm glad you guys agree so far with my rankings. Now let's get into the top 10. This is where it gets really juicy. And this is where I truly disagree with Bleacher Report. All right. Number 10, you got the Toronto Raptors. Now, I'm not even sure they're a top 10 team after losing Kawhi Leonard, Danny Green, and really not making any major acquisitions. Pascal Siakam, by default, might become their best player, which is a good thing for his development. But again, top 10, I'd probably move him into the bottom 15 or something. That's too high for them after losing Kawhi and Danny Green, two elite defenders who can do some serious stuff around the perimeter. Boston Celtics at number 9. Again, I believe they shouldn't even be in the top 10. They lost Kyrie Irving. People want to blame all of last season's failures on Kyrie, but they lost Al Horford as well. People aren't really talking about that. Boston gets out of my top 10. They're definitely not in the top 10, and I'm glad to say because I hate Boston. Jason Tatum would have to make an enormous leap and actually live up to all the hype they placed on his shoulders after his rookie season. Now, if he doesn't do that and he lays a dud like he did last season, then you know, he's going to confirm what I've been saying, that Kuzma's better than him. And Kuzma has shown it on one-on-one matchups, all biased aside. Kuzma has destroyed him on one-on-ones. So I believe Kuzma has more heart and more skill overall. Tatum is just that one dude that everybody put hype on because they just wanted to, I guess, hype up a Celtic or whatever. They also have Jaylen Brown. Kemba Walker is their biggest addition. Now, I like Kemba. Not anymore because he's a Celtic, but I used to like Kemba. He's a downgrade from Kyrie Irving. I don't care what nobody says. Yeah, he doesn't come with all the personality and stuff, but to me, he's still a downgrade. He doesn't play defense either, and he's not as lethal and clutch as Kyrie, in my opinion. But that's just me. Definitely a defensive liability, and so I see that the Boston Celtics as a downgrade, and last season they already were looking bad. They also lost Teddy Rozier, which, you know, obviously it cancels that out with Kemba Walker. But all in all, Boston's not in my top 10. Is he in your guys' top 10? Let me know in the comment section. Am I being too harsh? Am I just seeing through my purple and gold eyes? Do you guys have Boston in your top 10? To me, I do not. He said Walker has that hunger in him, though, Dan. That's the difference. Hey, so does Kyrie. You know, Kyrie to me is the clutcher player. I mean, he showed it when he went toe-to-toe with Curry in the finals. He showed who was the clutcher player. I'll still take Kyrie right now. He's a Celtics 11 or 12, Boston 17. Yeah, I agree with that. 11 or 12, I'd be okay with, but they're not on my top 10. Nah, they're not top 10. Lost Horford and Kyrie. Iggy is still not a free agent, so, you know, I've been saying it. I'll break the news as soon as Iguodala becomes available if we land him. Boston, a 5th seed in the East? In the East, but we're talking about power rankings overall in the NBA. Yeah, maybe in the East, yeah, I can see them 5th, 6th, 7th, but that's still not impressive to me. They're not a real contender to me. Okay, moving forward. So some of you guys agree, some of you guys disagree with Boston being a top 10. I believe they're not. Now, these are the fringe title contenders according to Bleacher Report now. They have the Golden State Warriors at number 8. Now, this is another one of those question mark teams. Obviously, we know how great they were, but they lost KD. Most likely, Klay Thompson's not going to be the same beast that he was last season in spurts, even though I still think he's inefficient. And they added D'Angelo. Now, D'Angelo doesn't really play defense, but he is a very good shooter. Can he make up for some of the Klay Thompson woes that they're going to miss through his injury? Absolutely. Now, defensively, Klay Thompson is night and day. Now, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Klay. If Klay comes back this season, when he comes back, if he's healthy, how they're going to look. Are they going to move D'Angelo to the 2, which I believe is the natural position, Curry at the 1 and Clay at the 3? Because that'd be pretty dangerous offensively. Defensively, they struggle with Curry and D'Angelo at 1 and 2 because neither of those guys are great defenders. I still remember that tape of, Curry calling for help defense from Sean Livingston when he was going up against, who was it? Fred VanVleet in the finals. So yeah, there's this video of that. If you guys haven't seen it, look that up. So yeah, they're gonna suffer defensively, and obviously they lost a big piece in KD. They couldn't win it without him last season. So I don't even think they're a contender unless Klay Thompson comes back and D'Angelo Russell takes that next step. I have them probably 10th on this list, but Bleacher Report has them at 8. At number 7, Utah Jazz at number 7. Now, they lost Derek Favors, but they made a huge acquisition with Mike Conley, man. Mike Conley was huge for them. And they also added Ed Davis, the homeboy, as everybody likes to call him over here in Laker Nation. So it's going to be interesting. I think Jeff Green as well. Donovan Mitchell and Mike Conley with Rudy Gobert in the paint is going to be really disgusting on both ends of the floor. And it's going to be interesting to see. Now, are they a top 7 team? I'll leave them there for now just because it's to be determined. Obviously they have to incorporate Mike Conley. He's going to be running the show now. How is Donovan Mitchell going to adapt to not having the ball as much and stuff like that? Even though Mike Conley can't play off ball as well, he can catch and shoot. So, and they got Bogdanovich as well. That's a good point, Kevin. It's going to be really interesting. Mike Conley has been underrated. I agree with you guys for a long time. I feel like he's going to shine with the Utah Jazz. So they're kind of a fringe, scary team. If I'm the Lakers or any other team, I wouldn't be the biggest fan of facing them in the first round. I mean, I'm not scared of that team. I know we would win if we stay healthy, but I don't want to go through that type of battle in the first round and bang up our roster for the next series. So that's all I got to say. Do I like Donovan Mitchell? I love Donovan Mitchell, man. He reminds me of a young D Wade. Very, very exciting. A little bit of Baron Davis when he was with the Hornets, the Charlotte Hornets. Very explosive. He could score, could get his, could erupt. So yeah, pretty much, yeah. The Utah Jazz is one of those teams you want to try to avoid in the first round. They definitely don't scare me either. I agree, Ibrahim. But they're one of those teams you don't want to see in the first round because they'll bang you up. You want to try to avoid any sort of injuries or stuff like that. Now, this is where it gets super duper juicy. At number 6, you got the Houston Rockets. Now, I don't want to completely disrespect the Houston Rockets because obviously, they have James Harden, the flop master, and Russell Westbrook. Anytime you have those two, you don't want to face them because they're going to be flopping left and right. They're going to look like a fish just flopping all over the place, man. So they did get a little bit better on the offensive end. Defensively, though, I feel this they're going to struggle. Obviously, James Harden, is not a great defender. He improved a little bit, but I feel like Russell Westbrook, with his motor, if he exerts too much energy on the defensive end, he's going to end up getting injured. So I don't know how they're going to do it. PJ Tucker, who's going to, carry most of the defensive load. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. They lost Chris Paul, who to me was a better floor spacer next to James Harden. Russell Westbrook's going to have to up his shooting percentages. But I would move the Houston Rockets to like number 8. I don't think they're a top 6 team as they currently stand now. If they make one more acquisition, yes, they still have big man, Clint Capella. They still have Eric Gordon. But I don't know. That team doesn't really jump out the page to me. I don't think that Russell Westbrook is, was the guy they should have acquired. Matter of fact, I think if they would have acquired Mike Conley or something like that, they would have been scarier. But Russ is just a stat patter. It's been proven he's not a winner. Same thing with James Harden. James Harden melts under pressure when he gets to playoffs. Now, are they going to feed off of each other's energy and get better? We will see. But for now, I don't even have them in my top 8. The Denver Nuggets at number 5. Now, here's where I feel like the Denver Nuggets are being disrespected. To me, the Denver Nuggets are a very lethal team. That's the one team I definitely don't want to see in the first round. Now, I'm not afraid of them, and I hope that we face them in the Western Conference Finals. I think the Clippers are pretenders. I think it's going to be Nuggets, Lakers, Western Conference Finals. But they have Jokic. Jokic is extremely underrated, and he's a superstar. He can impact the game on both ends. Great passer, great shooter, great paint beast. He's up there. We have Anthony Davis in the West, and Jokic is up there with those type of elite big men. We don't have too many in the West that could do both score and play defense, but Jokic, big fan. Not just that, but they paid that clown Jamal Murray max money. Now he's gonna have to live up to that. I don't think he's a max player, but he is borderline all-star fringe. They have Gary Harris, who could also stroke the ball. They drafted that Bobo kid, who I think has scary potential. I think he can be really good if he stays healthy. We all know he has injury history. And what's his name? Porter Jr. Porter Jr. coming out of injury. Again, he hasn't really played. We didn't see him in Summer League. But if he pans out, if he becomes the beast, I think he's like a Ben Simmons with a jump shot type of player. Now, let's not forget, this was the #1 overall projected player in that draft if he stays healthy. He could have easily went #1, but unfortunately, those foot injuries really got to him, or is it knee? I'm not sure. One of those two. But I actually have the Denver Nuggets. I have the Denver Nuggets in my top 4. I move them up 1 slot. What do you guys think so far? That's my top 4, man. The Denver Nuggets are there. If you guys would make any changes, let me know right now in the comment section. Do you guys think I'm overrating the Denver Nuggets? I actually think that's one of the teams that the league should fear. They're up and coming. And, was it his back injury? Yeah, it was his back injury. My bad. But, yeah, Michael Porter Jr., I think he can be very, very good. We'll see what happens. You guys know how I feel about Jamal Murray. I can't stand his cocky attitude, always disrespecting my Lakers. So I hope we bring the pain to them. But, it's going to be interesting to see. He said Denver is a legit contender. They better than Houston. I agree with that. And I have him in my top 4. He said Denver has pretty good depth. Absolutely. I think Denver is a bit overrated right now. Okay, that's a fair analysis. They're either overrated or underrated, but they're definitely not properly rated. Said Pac-Man's going to win tonight. Oh, I hope so, man. Shout out to Pac-Man. Packy-yeah. He said LeBron and AD will beat all of them. I know that. I believe that truly wholeheartedly. I think the Lakers winning the championship. I'm just talking about the path there. That's one of the teams you don't want to see in the first round. If somehow the Lakers end up first and they end up or we end up third and they end up 6th or whatever, it's crazy, man. The DTLF, would you take CP3 on a vet's minimum? It's just chemistry-wise, CP3 is a chemistry killer. I mean, every locker room he's been in, ever since he left the Charlotte Hornets, has been nothing but bad news. So probably not. Yes, he has talent, but he's kind of a douchebag. So I probably wouldn't do it. And plus, we have Rondo. We have plenty of guards from that spot. I'd rather have Iguodala there, who can play some point forward. So that's just personally me. Now, I can see the argument for why y'all would want to have Chris Paul, but personally, me, would I want Chris Paul? Probably not, man. Probably not. Now that spot is open. It's wide open, guys. That spot is wide open. So we'll see if we're able to fill that out with the proper player. But yeah, Chris Paul, to me, he's past his prime already. There's a reason that the Houston Rockets traded him as well. I mean, I really don't like his personality. I come back to the power rankings. Now we got the top 4 ranked teams, and this is where they get totally disrespectful. Bleacher Reports, I felt like I had to make this video because they got the Lakers at number 4. Not 1, not 2, not even 3. Number 4, guys. Now, you know where I'm putting the Lakers, number 1, for obvious reasons. We have the depth. We have the best front court in the NBA. We have 2 of the top 5 best players in the NBA. And Bleacher Reports is going to join ESPN and Fox and disrespect us. This is why I don't respect your opinion, Bleacher Reports. Y'all got to be better than this. And I'm just going to read you guys why they believe that we're going to be the 4th team. They say extended minutes for Rondo will most certainly hurt. He's projected to be a minus 0.9 wins above replacement this season. Avery Bradley forecast is worse. So they're just looking at analytics, and this is why I don't agree with analytics at all times. Now they're talking about how LeBron has passed his peak, but he's still the best teammate Davis has ever had. By a long shot, their pick and roll should be devastating. I agree with that part. He said, particularly if Los Angeles is wise enough to play them extended minutes at the 4 and 5. Now, I don't agree with that. I don't want LeBron at the 4 and Anthony at the 5. That's really ridiculous. But again, Bleacher Report logic. Don't agree. To me, Lakers are number 1. They got them at number 4. Total disagreement. Philadelphia 76ers are my dark horse this year. They're the biggest threat to the Lakers, in my opinion, and they're the ones that are coming out of the East. Now, if you guys remember, I predicted the Toronto Raptors coming out of the East since before the season started. So you might want to take my y'all might want to take my analysis pretty serious here. Now, people will say stuff like this: the Sixers are overrated. Absolutely not. I believe they improved. Jimmy Butler, to me, was a good addition at first, but later on, they didn't really mesh too well. Now, I'm going to tell you why I feel like Philadelphia is the one team that could put up a fight versus the Lakers in the finals. They got better. They added Al Horford. They have that front court depth. Now, you're going to have potentially, let's just say they make it to finals like I believe they will. You're going to have Anthony Davis versus Joel Embiid. Now, that's a matchup that is going to go night in and night out. Those are the top two big men in the NBA right now. They added, what is it, Josh Richardson, I believe is his name, from the Miami Heat. I've always liked him. He's very underrated, young, up-and-coming player. He could hit the three. He could play defense, and he could play make a little bit. I truly like his game. They added him to make up for some of J.J. Redick's shooting. But let's not forget, J.J. Redick's defense was horrible. Now, here's the key to them making the finals and becoming a contender. Ben Simmons. Now, from what I've heard, he's been working on his jumper. They're going to need him to start knocking down three-point shots so that the floor opens up and it spreads open. If he does that, at least semi-consistent, let's say he shoots 29 to 33 from beyond the arc, that's good enough to keep the defense honest. And we know he's a good slasher. We know he's a good playmaker. But it means nothing in the playoffs if he can't stretch the floor. So that's the key right there. If he can do that with Al Horford, Joel Embiid, a better jump shooting Simmons, Josh Richardson, and I feel like I'm forgetting somebody, but they truly got better, man. I think that they're the most underrated offseason team this year. I think adding Al Horford was huge for him. He's a two-way beast, and I think he's going to truly bring some value to that team. Now they got Kyle Quinn, who's a bruiser down low in the paint, and they had a pretty good bench last season, but it's going to be extremely exciting. They re-signed Tobias Harris. That was huge for them as well. I mean, they have a pretty deep front court. They're the only team that can compete front court wise with the Lakers. That's why I have them going to the finals, just like I have us going to the finals. So that's my prediction. Y'all heard it here first. Hot take. Write it down. Take a picture. Tweet it out. Whatever. Hot take. Philadelphia Lakers is my finals matchup, and it should be a glorious one. I can't wait for that. Now, they have Milwaukee at number 2. I slide, obviously, Philadelphia to number 2 and move Milwaukee to number 3. Now, obviously, Giannis is a beast. But that team didn't improve, and they didn't get to the finals as is. And they already lost Brogdon, who, by the way, was injured. They lost Mirotic, who went to play overseas. And they added Brook Lopez's brother. That's pretty much the upgrade. But they need more shooting, man. They truly do. And they added Kyle Korver just now, today, as a matter of fact. But that's not going to be enough to me. To me, if they want to make the finals, Giannis is going to have to hit his free throws, start hitting a consistent jumper, same thing as Ben Simmons. He needs to be able to stretch the floor consistently because that way everybody could operate in the paint. We know they have Eric Bledsoe who likes to get in the paint, but to me, they just don't have enough shooting, and they lost a big piece with Mirotic. I think he was a wild card for that team. So to me, that's why I slide them back to 3 or 4, and I move Philly to the top. And Bleacher Report really made me laugh when they added the Los Angeles Clippers to the number 1 spot. So I'm doing good, by the way. Shout out to Realist. How you doing, bro? Here's the thing. The Clippers at number 1. This is a joke. Yes, Kawhi Leonard won Finals MVP. Yes, Kawhi Leonard is a champion. He took 2 different teams to the championship. He is a super team stopper. I'm not going to sugarcoat none of that. However, Paul George is unproven in the playoffs. Paul George hasn't done crap. His biggest accomplishment was taking the Miami Heat to 7 games, and after that, LeBron owns him. So Paul George, you can count him out. Patrick Beverley is an inconsistent shooter. Montrezl Harrell is going to get eaten up in the paint by the Nuggets, by the Lakers. Anybody who has a paint beast is going to eat him up. Lou Williams is a streaky guy. All you have to do is not reach, and he's going to shoot himself in and out of games. How are the Clippers the number 1 team? That's really puzzling. That is a head scratcher to me. That's a head scratcher to me, man. Let's not forget that Paul George is coming off of an injury, and Kawhi Leonard is going to be asked to do a lot of the heavy lifting for the Clippers because they don't have another bona fide superstar like Kawhi. Paul George is not a superstar. He's an all-star. I feel like he had a great season because obviously Russell Westbrook made him look good, but nah, man. Honestly, they don't have enough paint protection to stop the Lakers, the Nuggets. They don't have a lot of paint protection to stop the elite teams, not even the Sixers if they got lucky enough to get to the finals. So to have them power ranked at number 1 is just a joke to me. Landry Shamet was a solid pickup. When they talk about their bench, we're talking about Lou Williams. Other than Lou Williams, they don't have a great bench. Zubats is their next best player off the bench. Shamit, he had a nice little run. Let's not forget they traded away Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. That's crazy, man. They just disrespected our Lakers and just leapfrog the Clippers to the top. Just because this is what the analysts want. See, the analysts are breaking it down with their heart, not their minds. And when I break stuff down, obviously I didn't have the Lakers number one last year. I'm being realistic. This year I have them number one because to me we have the best front court depth. We have the two of the top 5 players in that whole NBA. We have Kyle Kuzma, who I think is going to take somewhat of a leap, a better coaching staff, and a supporting coaching staff. We have everything to win the championship. So we totally got disrespected. And that's my power rankings, guys. Hopefully you guys agree with me. If you don't, if you disagree, let me know now before I get off. But honestly, it's crazy. He said, yo, DTLF, if you were an NBA executive, who would you take to build around, AD or Kawhi Leonard? Anthony Davis is younger. Anthony Davis, last I checked, is a great big man who we have never seen a big man like this that could take you off the dribble, shoot the three, post you up, great defender, good passer. I mean, we've never seen this type of versatility in a big man. So I take Anthony Davis, even though I still feel like Kawhi was the best player last year. Now, hopefully, AD and LeBron ripped that title out of his hands. But yeah, Dan, it's going to take a while for the team to gel, probably by January. I don't think it's going to take that long. I give them 1 or 2 months. Let me tell you why, because we're not dealing with too many young players. This time we actually have vets that have been there before. And if you look at in the history of the Lakers, or even LeBron James, when he joined teams, they gelled really quick because he had the right vets and role players around him. And that's what the Lakers did. We added guys that have been there before, won championships, Danny Green types, JaVale McGee types that already just know they know their role. They're not going to try to do too much. Therefore, I feel like they will gel quicker. But I'll take a couple more questions before I get off, man. Thank you guys so much for joining me today to talk some Laker power ranking talk, NBA talk. We needed a good day of basketball talk. I feel like I needed to come talk to you guys today. How y'all feeling about my rankings, though? Y'all agree? Do you guys think you would have switched up a couple of things? Hey, what's up, Andy? Shout out to the Philippines. How you doing, man? Is it Zubac and Harold? Barbecue chicken for LeBron and AD and Cousins. Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, man. That's absolutely what I'm saying. Good analogy, bro. Thanks. He said, what's up, D-Man? Nothing much, bro. Just got disappointed watching Lion King, but I'll leave the rest to Twitter, man, if you want to know my true opinion on that. He said, people got it twisted. Cousins, Rondo, AD has played together. Cook and McGee played together, and Caruso, LeBron, and Kuz played together. There you go. Not to mention that they're professionals and they're vets. They're not young rookies or young second, third year players. These guys are ready to perform. But thank you guys so much for all the support and everything, man. Truly appreciate you guys tuning in. Don't forget to hit that like button on your way out. Again, I'm about to hit 10K. If it isn't that I already hit it after this video. If I hit it already, don't worry about it. Don't hit me up. I will do another video tomorrow to announce the winners of the 2K sweepstakes. If you guys didn't, I already pretty much selected. Me and my girl already selected the winners, the 2 winners. So it's done. You don't need to retweet or anything anymore. But we won't announce that till we hit 10K. So as soon as we hit it, I'll be dropping that video and we'll have more content, not to mention the song I Bleed Purple coming out shortly after, maybe a day after that video. So plenty of content for you guys, man. Keep it locked right here, all things Lakers. And I can't wait for the season to start, man. Ooh, I can't wait. I'm daydreaming about LeBron and AD and Kuzma and Boogie and Rondo and JaVale McGee and Quinn Cook. And, I'm just Danny Green. We just have such a deep team, and I feel like this is a championship contender. So shout out to you guys for sticking with me, man. Thank you guys for all support. Again, about to hit 10K. Big things coming. As I grow, I give back to you guys as well. So keep it locked right here all day, all night. Got you guys covered, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out, Laker Nation. Have a good one.